Our opening of the Choral Union Series happens in September, and we welcome back one of the most legendary ensembles to ever come to the University Musical Society, the Philadelphia Orchestra.
Yeah, I mean, everyone I think knows that we're in our 140th season, and the core of that tradition has been the presentation of orchestral and symphonic music, primarily in Hill Auditorium. There's no American orchestra that's more closely associated with our organization and Hill Auditorium than the Philadelphia Orchestra. It's always a thrill to have them back in Ann Arbor. And of course, at this moment, with their music director, Yannick Nézet-Séguin, who is a real beacon and shining light from the podium and for American music right now, American symphonic music, the excitement, the skill, the engagement that he has with audiences.
I think you called him the man of the moment.
I think he is the man of the moment.
I think he is, yeah, Yannick. We have 11 different offerings this coming season. This idea that artists come and finish and workshop and complete and interact with the Michigan community as they put the finished product together. We're kind of jokingly calling it finishing school here at UMS. This is happening in the Choral Union Series. We talked about the Philadelphia Orchestra opening the Choral Union Series in late September, but the great Chinese pianist Yuzha Wang will be here with some very special guests.
Yeah, Yuja's coming back. Ann Arbor audiences know her through a number of recitals that she's given in Hill Auditorium already. But this time, this concert will start out as a sort of more traditional, expected kind of piano recital, but then she'll be joined by collaborator Martin Grubinger and his ensemble of percussionists. They're an Austrian-based percussion ensemble, brilliant virtuoso, and they have a set of original arrangements of both known works like Rite of Spring, a couple of Bartók works, and then original compositions that really, frankly, the concert's going to transform itself into a bit of a rock concert.
They're going to rock it out, I think.
They're going to rock it out. And it's important to note, they're here for a few days putting the finishing touches on this concert because Yuzha also is doing an artist's perspective at Carnegie Hall this season, and they're putting this piece together, premiering it here in Ann Arbor, and then taking it to Carnegie Hall in New York. So very exciting, sort of unexpected moment in the Choral Union Series this year.
Wonderful, wonderful. We have two very high-profile, beautifully constructed, important artists who are doing two voice recital programs. We mentioned Yannick Nézet-Séguin. He comes back to us in December with
Joyce DiDonato, who will be returning. You know, many people remember that last season she made her UMS debut singing the lead role in Ariadante, Handel's Ariadante. She'll be back in piano recital with Yannick in December. So Yannick opens and closes the fall. It's also kind of fun to have a major music director of, you know, arguably one of the great, inarguably one of the great opera companies joining forces with, you know, one of the real divas of the moment in piano recital. There's a huge history of music directors performing with operatic stars on stage and recital.
And their artistry is unquestionable, but their personalities and they're both, to me, they're people in the music world who are just rays of light. They just exude a joy and enthusiasm and passion for what they do. I urge our audiences to make sure that they do not miss that in December. Also, two beloved performers for UMS, Eric Owens and Larry Brownlee.
Speaking of the mat and speaking of rays of light, Eric and Larry are coming together to do a joint recital in the second half of the season. It will be both opera arias, opera scenes, spirituals, American song, gospel favorites. And Eric and Larry are both artists that, frankly, we made commitments to very early in their careers. So the fact that they're now kind of at the top of the opera mountain coming back together is especially meaningful for us.
While we're on the vocal side, the LA Master Chorale coming with a really, really interesting presentation directed by the wonderful, the iconic Peter Sellers. Talk about Lagrime di San Pietro.
Lagrime di San Pietro, which translates as Tears of St. Peter, is the last work by Orlando de Lasso before he died. It's a major sort of totem of the late Renaissance. And, you know, a lot of people would expect to go to a concert of, you know, Renaissance music by choir and hear it and like it and be moved by it and go home. This evening is really taking those ideas to the next level. For those of you who don't know who Peter Sellers is, he's a much celebrated avant-garde American theater director, and he's known for getting inside musical scores and really excavating meaning in the music by asking musicians and performers to gesture and move, not act, but really gesture and move and bring the music to life in new ways that, quite frankly, can be deeply moving and meaningful for audiences, especially if they've never had these experiences. So I think we can think of this concert in Hill Auditorium as being sort of lightly theatricalized. There will be a light design that supports the performance. The singers in the LA Master Chorale will move around on stage. They won't be acting per se, but they'll really be embodying the music and the meaning of the music.
It's amazing what they do while they're singing this music. It's incredible.
And I'm really confident that this will be one of the highlights of the
season.
season.
Well, using the acoustics and the environment of Hill Auditorium as their canvas, just wonderful. I think we always have to remind ourselves how lucky we are to have really a great plethora of venues in the Power Center, in Rackham, in the Michigan Theater for jazz and global music, and certainly in our main series, the Choral Union Series at Hill Auditorium. I'm just going to touch very quickly on, we've mentioned the Philadelphia Orchestra coming back. And their history here. We have the Orchestre Révolutionnaire et Romantique with the wonderful and again iconic Sir John Eliot Gardner coming, one of the great period orchestras of the world. We have the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra coming with the amazing Semyon Bishkov, conductor I know particularly well, Elisa Weilerstein, who's been an artist who's come here many times. Having Elisa and Semyon here will be wonderful personally, but certainly artistically. And then we have an orchestral residency in the 1819 season with the Philharmonia Orchestra of London and Esa-Pekka Salomon.
The fact of the matter is they're a superb ensemble that has not been here to Ann Arbor in quite some time. And I've heard them on a number of occasions in London and in Edinburgh, led by their music director, who you know very well.
Probably the greatest concert I ever heard in New York City was the Philharmonia with Esa-Pekka, a concert version of Berg's Wozzeck. And it still is resonating with me in terms of the power, the sheer artistry, but the sheer power of that performance. Esa-Pekka is, just simply one of the most dynamic musical artists in the world today. Having a chance to interact with him as a composer in residence at the New York Philharmonic is great. They are bringing two programs here, which I think are very exciting. They're bringing Esa-Pekka's relatively new cello concerto that was composed for Yo-Yo Ma. That is not only a live performance, but actually integrates sound and media. And a technique called looping, which is a really amazing thing. A Bartok Concerto for Orchestra. Stravinsky's complete score to the Firebird, which is just such a wheelhouse piece for Esa-Pekka and that orchestra. It'll just be riveting.
And when we started talking about this, you said, Michael,
no matter what happens,
to do Firebird.
No matter what happens, we have to have that complete Firebird because it's just an amazing experience with him. We have a wonderful opera and concert with Semele, Handel's wonderful opera with the English Concert and Harry Bickett.